What's poppin', y'all? It's your girl Mickay. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell button so that way you get notified every single time I upload a video. I am so happy to see your beautiful face today. Y'all, we are going to get into a real educational type of video today. I'm going to talk about how I basically got into NYU and the steps that I took to kind of ensure that, we was about to be NYU 2021. And although it's not a guarantee with these steps, it just really helped my application. And so I'm going to just drop some gems for all of you. And if you're in high school and you're thinking about what college should I attend, these steps also apply to you, even if you're not attending or even if you're not applying to NYU, because colleges, period, want to see what I'm about to kind of chat with y'all about, okay? Without further ado, we just gonna get right into this video. So the first step, and I think it's a very important step, is that I took SAT and ACT workshop, preps type of classes or whatever. So I literally enrolled into, my school was doing this SAT, ACT prep on the weekends on Saturday, and I went, I think the class was 3 hours, and basically what we did is we had an instructor and he taught us how to kind of answer questions, how to strategically decide if you don't know the answer, what should you likely select, whatever. So I took those prep classes because I know myself and I know that I am not a good test taker. And just hearing the fact that I had to get a certain score to get into a school made me anxious overall. And so I was like, okay, well, I need to take the steps that I need to take in order to ensure that I get the score that I need to get into my dream school, which was NYU. So I went to the prep class on Saturdays in the morning. It was a drag, I will say, because you weren't getting graded for this. There was no incentive except the fact that it would help you boost your SAT score, which I personally needed to do. So yeah, I took SAT and ACT prep classes, and I will say I took an SAT and ACT test beforehand, and then after the prep class, my ACT score didn't change too much, but I will say my SAT score changed a lot, went up 200 points. So I definitely would suggest, if your school offers it, if you could find a free resource, because personally I went to public high school, so we had a free, I think it was $50 or it was free, one of the two, for the SAT, ACT prep class. So it wasn't also a financial burden for me. So if you can kind of find a free resource or some type of tutor that offers SAT and ACT prep, definitely recommend. The second thing I want to get into is scholarships. A lot of people, I think, rely on the school that they're applying to give them the scholarships that they need in order to attend. NYU is expensive, and I knew off jump that they were not going to give me all of the aid that I need. I cap on the Pell Grant, I cap on every single thing, when there's money involved, I meet all of the requirements. And so I obviously knew that a school that's about over $70,000 a year, I cannot afford. And so I had to make sure that since I really wanted to go there, I needed the scholarships in order to make sure that I can attend in the fall. So I applied to a lot of scholarships. I applied to local scholarships in my area. I applied to national scholarships as well. And one little gem that I'm going to tell y'all that people probably don't tell you is don't enter the easy scholarships, or not don't, but just give your effort and your attention to those long, intense application scholarships. And the reason why I think this is so important is because, one, those tend to have the most money, $5 to $10 grand a year or semester. And two, the longer the application, the more intense you have to focus on the essays, the less people that are going to apply, because they're oh, I don't want to spend time on this, or I don't have time to do this, I gotta focus on other stuff. Okay, well, I am gonna spend all the time in the world on this application to make sure I get that $20,000 scholarship, to make sure that I get that $30,000, whatever it is, I'm gonna spend that time. And so my largest scholarship is $5,000 a semester. And that, y'all, when I tell you I took weeks to finish that application, I think like almost a month. But it was 1000% worth it, because not only did I get a scholarship from there, like money, they also gave me a laptop. And like just being able to say like I was a national scholar, like national scholarship winner, like that's also amazing. And that just goes to show that I took my time on my application in order for me to be one out of 400 people in the entire United States to get that scholarship. So I say that to say, apply to those long, intense scholarships. As intimidating as they may seem, that money will help you so, so much. Apply to the local scholarships too, because it's kind of like geared toward, you know, your group of people and not that big of a pool of competition. But like, take your time on those applications and it's gonna be worth it. I promise you. Like, my largest scholarships were the longest essays and applications, but I got the scholarship because I took my time and I was like, you know what, I need this. We've come to tip number 3. My third tip is to network with your college advisors. And what I mean by this is get advice from them, get some tips from them. They've been in their field for a long time. They literally specialize in getting people into college. So ask them, what do I need to do? How can I improve my score? How can I improve my GPA? What do I need to do before the end of the year in order to make sure that I get into NYU, whatever school, whatever it is? Like, take advantage of this resource because they know what they're talking about. They know what type of students have gotten into schools in the previous years. They know what other students' applications look like because they walk through applications with students. Like, utilize whatever type of college-related counselor, advisor you have at your school. Utilize them and pick their brain. They will literally tell you, you need to do this, you need to have this, you need to have this, you need to have this. And it's like, okay, got you. Instead of going on the school website and seeing all these averages, that's an average. That doesn't guarantee you're gonna get into the school if you have averages. They're gonna tell you, no, you need this. The website on NYU, I think, says that the GPA is like 3. I don't even know what it was, but all I knew was that they had, these are the type of students that got into NYU. These are the type of students that got into blah blah school. For the other schools I was kind of, that I was applying to. So definitely ask them about FAFSA. Ask them about any type of, you know, like any type of national scholarships they will know about. Any type of full ride scholarships they will know about. Utilize them. They know everything. They literally specialize in getting high schoolers into college. So utilize them as a resource. And so now we are getting into tip number 4, which is the topic is your application essay. And so I'm looking down at my computer, y'all. I'm so sorry because like I have my little notes out or whatever. But I'm going to tell y'all some things that will enhance your college application through your application essay. And this is through the Common App essay or like whatever general essay that you're doing for, you know, applying to all the schools. And then I also suggest that you fill out that optional essay. You go ahead and you type that thing, okay? Because they want to see that you put effort into their specific application. So one tip that I have in terms of your essay is to sell yourself and your passion. Tell them why you are so infatuated with becoming a lawyer. Tell them why you really, really want to become a therapist. Why do you want to study chemistry? Why do you need to study a language? Why do you need to get into this school? Like, why should they choose you over the next candidate? You have to tell them why. So show them, I have passion, I have drive, I'm determined. Like, and yes, they can see it in your grades, but that's one letter. Write it out in words. Explain to them the type of passion that you already put in your schoolwork. What types of other things are you doing to make sure that you'll be a great lawyer, a great therapist, a great doctor, a great musician, a great whatever it is. Like, what work are you doing? What are you doing right now to show your passion? Write that out. If you're in a club that has to do with your career, write it out. Talk about your experience. If you overcame something in your life that kind of like made it click for you, like this is what I need to do in my life, talk about that experience. Explain to them step by step what went through your mind, what clicked, and then like how you just knew that this is what you needed to study, what you wanted to study. This is a school for you. What will, like, y'all, you have to sell yourself. They need to hear the passion in that essay. So sell yourself. Make sure you make yourself look the best form of you that you possibly can make yourself look like, okay? And then the second thing about your essay, if you had a struggle, a fallout, a hardship, something happened to you in high school, something life-changing, something that made you have a different perspective on life, whatever the case may be, talk about it. Talk about it. How did you overcome that hardship? How did you overcome that experience? What steps did you take to overcome that experience? How did you go from here to now here? Explain that to them. You know, I went through this, but I didn't let it beat me down. Instead, I overcame that situation, and now I'm in a much better place in my life. And just that in itself speaks volumes about your character, because that means that you can problem solve. That means that you see, you know, a positive ending to maybe like a negative situation. Or you see the light at the end of the tunnel, basically. You're not going to give up just because things get hard. These are the types of things that colleges need to know, because if the curriculum is hard, they want to make sure that their school keeps a type of GPA. Their school keeps this type of, you know, this status. And so if you come and you're saying in your essay, I got like all C's and F's on one semester, and that just kept going because I didn't care anymore. Like, they're just going to be like, no. Like, they want to see that you turned darkness into light, basically. How did you overcome something? And that's another thing that I want to say, too. Here's another thing that I want to say is, like, if you don't have the grades for them at that time, but you think that your grades are going to get to a certain point, talk about that. How are you going to change your grades? How are you going to boost your GPA? What are you doing right now to make sure that you are the candidate that they need at their school? And the third tip for the essay, I want to say, is tell your story. Whatever story you have, whatever story you think that makes somebody remember you. What can you tell them that they'll be like, oh, Michaela, I know her. This is her story. This is what she went through. This is how she overcame it. Now she's here. You know, who are you? What have you gone through? Like, what will they remember about your application? Don't sound like everyone else, because everyone's trying to get into that school, so everyone's trying to make themselves sound a certain type of way. Tell your story. If it's an ugly story, that is okay. They want to see, once again, your passion, your drive, your determination, and all of that stuff, y'all. Tip number 5. We're not talking about the essay anymore. We're going to get back into like the general tips. So tip number 5, you want to engage with your community. And what I mean by that is engage in extracurricular activities. You have a leadership team. Do you have some type of SGA? Do you have a band at your school? Is there like a kind of like optional class, maybe like culinary arts, whatever it might be? Join. Become the vice president. Become the president of that club. Make an impact on the people in that club. Apply, like, and talk about that in your essay, you know, and then talk about how did you gain leadership skills from that role. You know, they want leaders at their school. Colleges want people to come out of their school and become the top, you know, certain colleges, not all colleges, but certain colleges want their students to come out of the school and, okay, y'all, this curl though, lol, they want their students to come out of the school and be the top doctors, be the top lawyers, be the top therapists. They want to make leaders out of their students, so you kind of have to already be building that leader in high school and show them, I built that leader in high school, so I'm ready for NYU. I'm ready for this college. And the reason why it's so important to engage with your community and get into clubs, get into band, you know, get into whatever activity, extracurricular activity, is because these are the people that are going to write your letters of recommendation. If you are SGA president, you want the person who oversees the entire SGA to write your letter of recommendation so they can speak on your leadership qualities. They can speak on the things that you did for the school. They can speak on your growth from freshman year to senior year, or from the beginning of senior year to the end of senior year. If you need a letter of recommendation from a teacher, that means you have to do well in the classroom. How did you show up as a student in the classroom? How did you show up as a leader in the classroom? Like, these are things that your teachers are going to be writing about you, and so you want to make sure that they're writing great things about you, so you want to present yourself like a leader. You don't want to kind of just fall back in the crowd and do what everybody else is doing. You have a goal. You want to go to one of the top universities in America, then you have to, kind of act like it, if that makes sense. And the last tip that I'm going to kind of give, I think this is a really good one, and not everyone kind of does this. I mean, everyone's situation is different, but I want to say try to have a part-time job at some point in high school. That doesn't mean work 30 hours a week every single week for the entirety of your high school. It just means internship, part-time job, whatever the case may be. Find something that you can literally like put in hours. You have a supervisor, somebody overwatches your work, and do it for a summer, do it for a school year, do it for a semester, whatever the case may be. So that way you have, boom, another letter of recommendation. And then you have work experience while you're a student. That means that you can handle multiple things at one time. And that's the same thing that extracurriculars say about you, that you can handle multiple things at one time. You handle a job, you handle being SGA president, and you handle keeping up your grades. You can do all three. Okay, a college wants you because they understand that no matter the situation, you're going to figure out what works best for you. How are you still going to succeed as a student instead of letting your situation, your job, take precedent over your academic. Also, another thing that I want to say is having extracurriculars, having jobs, I personally believe will make a college sort of understand, okay, maybe this is why she had a fallout this semester. Maybe this is why her GPA isn't as high as it should be. But then they have all of these other qualities about them that speak value on them and not just their grades. So you have a cushion. You don't have the grades, or you kind of have the grades, but one semester you really did not do too well, but you have jobs, you have extracurriculars, whatever the case may be. They will see that. The college will see, okay, they had a lot of things on their plate that semester. That explains the GPA drop. And they will understand. So y'all, I went into a little bit of a rant, but I really hope that these little tips and tricks were beneficial. I truly believe if you follow the tips that I have talked about, if you really listen to the words that I've said and apply it to your essay, apply it in your schoolwork, when you go back to school next semester, try to be in SGA. It doesn't mean you have to be president, vice president. You could just be a member in the club. But that means that you went out of your way to join something. Like, there are just so many little things that you can do that you probably don't think make a difference, but they do. So if you are a high schooler, if you are watching this, even if you're in college and you want to transfer to NYU, if you follow these steps, I believe that you can really get into this school with saying that you have the GPA, around the SAT, but these are things that will really enhance your application to make sure that you got into NYU, because these are literally the things that I did because I really wanted to get into NYU. So if you have a school that you really want to go to, if you really want to go to NYU, listen to what I said. Take the steps. That's basically all, y'all. I really wish you good luck on your college application. And I think decision day is coming up in a few days. So if you decide to go to whatever school, congratulations. Congratulations on, taking the next step into your future. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.